Hey, welcome to Rhyme Runs. I'm back with this video game thing I do, and I wanted to start out so professionally here at the very top with maybe some legitimizing concerns about this show. Number one, I keep stealing music from very good sources. I just feel bad because, especially if you're listening to the audio portion, I don't ever shout out, because also I don't ever know what I'm going to choose before I record. So I've decided to stick with one song, so I'm going to mention it here and give credit for it forevermore. It doesn't mean I'm not stealing it, but who knows? I have a long history with the, I don't want to say musicians, but with the band. No, actually that came out wrong. They are musicians, but I don't have a long history with them personally myself. I have a long history with the band. As fans of a band might. You've probably heard me talk about the Bouncing Souls at some point. You've certainly heard me talk about, if you listen to either Book Club for Movies, I don't think we mentioned that all that much, but maybe on the Zero Hit Point show, where sometimes we went into personal stories here and there, we would often start the show with that. I've talked about them before in concerts I've been to of theirs, and that's been going on since 93, 4, I don't know, 2, 1, 0. So if you hear any music from here on out, and like I said, I'll probably just stick with the one song. It's from the Bouncing Souls. They are a band that's very close, if not closest to my heart. So that's going to be the music and song I steal from here on out. Much thanks to the band. I hope they contact me to either tell me to take it down or they'll sue me, or either way, just any contact at all would be fine. For this here little show that I do where I talk about video games, I think that's all the legitimizing we'll do of this show for now, certainly. And whereas the last show I thought was maybe a little ill thought out, actually it was definitely ill thought out in that I didn't take the time to prepare probably that I would. I almost did the same thing this time around. I will tell you, I know I've mentioned this on this show, young as it is, that I played the game Spec Ops: The Line a long, long time ago. And actually, that's not true. I bought the game a long, long time ago. I played it just a long time ago. So I've had footage prepared to occupy that bottom corner for I don't know how long now. It's just that every time I sit down to record a show on it, I don't think I'm going to give it its proper due. Because believe it or not, for such a, in many ways, middling and flash in the pan game that it was, there's a lot of thought out on that. And when I say thought, I mean YouTube videos, interviews, but et cetera, lots of theory even. And it holds up to much of it. Like, I think it's a game worth analyzing. So, you know, I'm in that camp, but I don't think I'm prepared to do the proper analyzation that I would like to. And not because I haven't played it. I did play it beginning to end and have at least a page's worth of notes here. I want to talk about it in context. So I want to watch some of those other videos on it and come up with a little bit better or more informed point of view when I do actually come to talk about it. So the game I did end up playing, long build up, is Infinite Warfare. And I should say continued playing. Which device is making noise now? Not this one. So I've been, if you noticed last week, I had several braces on. I'm doing okay now. Video portion again, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But I've been having probably some combination of carpal tunnel and tennis elbow, not from tennis, which sounds, I was gonna say it sounds worse to say I got it, but I wasn't playing tennis. What did I do? But it almost sounds worse to tell you what I was doing is that I was playing pickleball, which I know it's all the craze now for anybody. It's like I hit 40 years old and they gave me a pickleball racket. It was like, welcome to the club. So if you too are old, maybe you've heard of this game of pickleball, but in any event, I'm feeling better, but it has affected what games I play. So I've gone to a little less intensive games. Like I was playing Tetris a lot, probably does not help with the carpal tunnel because all the quick, and especially if you're moving, you're cooking with that game, you're going to do lots of short and quick movements. So I went with Infinite Warfare, this Call of Duty game that came out. Gosh, we've got to be 5 games removed now, which it comes out every year. So That's not saying too much, but still, I had started it a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the Zero Hit Points podcast, and I did finish it as well, but I played through it on probably just Recruit, probably just easy, maybe medium at best, because my wife was enjoying watching the story as well. So I didn't get too deep into it, and once I played through it once, I dropped off for whatever reason. So I've come back to it because I wanted to get through it on Veteran like I do with every Call of Duty. And this was no different in that it's no... Like, Veteran kind of used to be an issue. I remember Call of Duty 2, which was my first. Like, Veteran took me some time. And granted, I think I was newly coming back into games at that point, so my skills probably weren't as sharp as they could have been, and I would hope not as sharp as they are now. So, at least starting with Modern Warfare, it seems, the first Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward especially, I think has made some important concessions to make it difficult, but not freaking frustrating, which... Speaking of Infinity Ward, and also speaking of this, again, as I have for the Zero Hit Points show, but important to reiterate at this point, I am an Infinity Ward guy, and when I say that, I mean Respawn now, you know? Like, Infinity Ward, I think, as a current company, has done some important things to maintain that brand of game that they put out. Infinite Warfare definitely follows that, and actually Modern Warfare 3, which I think was post... actual original Infinity Ward, still I enjoyed quite a bit. But in contrast to the Treyarch games, where I think the last one I played seriously was Call of Duty 3, which was a frustrating experience over and over. I'll never forget. So I've kind of drawn the line there, and I do really enjoy first-person shooters kind of as a genre, even though I don't say that because I play a bunch of them. It's just that anytime I've gone back to games like this, especially ones that I've liked, it's almost a comfort food, except I do like to analyze, you know, I like to sit down and kind of think about what it's doing new and different than other, you know, and the easiest comparison here is going to be that Infinity Ward Treyarch break, kind of. So, Infinity Warfare, Infinite Warfare, the game that I've been playing currently, is something I picked back up because I had played it before. I just had the Veteran. I didn't think it was going to be any great challenge, and I was right. But upon revisiting it, I think actually sits pretty comfortably in my top 2 Call of Duties. And that's kind of a way of saying that you really liked it without having to figure out what your top 1 is, because again, that would take us quite some time. And it's because of the look. Number one, it is top to bottom this perfect Space Navy. From the moment you step onto that bridge in the game, is okay, let's say after the kind of opening intro, which is gorgeous, man. Like, when I talk about Space Navy, I'm talking about, like, look to talk. Like, it's all there. And at the very beginning, you're going through these really cool cutscenes where you're walking through Fleet Week, you know, and it's, if I haven't mentioned this already, it's near future. So, you know, there's lots of ships and space travel, and they're all there for a big parade. And the leader of Mars, like, I'm into the story as well, if you can't tell. The leader of Mars, played by the Jon Snow dude, no, I don't know his name, basically wipes out, it's got to be a majority of the fleet, because they're there just showboating for Fleet Week. And so you're thrown into it. Your commanding officer, or the commanding officer in the field, is killed, so you're field promoted to, I believe, just captain, but still captain of, like, one of the only 2 remaining warships, you know, think aircraft carriers or something like that. And the moment you step onto that bridge, it is beautiful. Like, it's such a good recreation, like cinematic or otherwise, I don't care. Like, I'm literally including movies, games, whatever you want to include right here. It is such a cool look that they've done for this game, for that genre or aesthetic, you know, Space Navy, that it's easy to get wrapped up in it, especially within the... I haven't done a whole lot of research about how long the game actually was in development for. I know it seems like such a hectic cycle with every Call of Duty, even though they've got like 3 rotating teams now, but I'm amazed at the level of detail and craft that went into this thing. just visually speaking. Also, the story, which I feel like I started on and didn't finish, but you are under attack from the Mars colony. It's headed up by the Jon Snow dude, who is, for a small man, it seems, like not terribly intimidating. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but pictures of him, I don't say strike terror into my heart or anything like that. But in this game, he's pretty darn good at it. And he's got lots of highfalutin theology and just great megalomania about him. The writing's good throughout. And the writing might be a little bit, if that's number 3 here that we're talking about, it borders on kind of hoorah, annoying, you know, and I'm sure we'll cross that line for a lot of people. But I feel like this game came out at a time when that was in vogue, but with guys with beards. Actually, I guess Modern Warfare probably started that, obviously, but that's not a beard to be seen in Infinite Warfare. So they were kind of zigging where everyone else was zagging, I think, at the time, and maybe still. I mean, obviously, Modern Warfare, not 2, but the sequel, not the sequel reboot that came out most recently was back to beards. Beard basics back to them. So I don't know if it's refreshing, but it's good. I like the dialogue. I love the characters. I don't know how I get so attached to these characters that speak in such couched or, you know, tightened up terms. And that includes the goober you play as, who looks like he might as well be a cross between Tom Cruise and like another Tom Cruise or something. He's not, he's just the most generic looking leading man type guy who's very, don't get me wrong, competent at his job, I'm sure, and inspiring to those around him. You know, Captain, his name, the names aren't important. The girl is Salt. That is important because they develop this relationship. I'm telling you, why do I care about the characters in a Call of Duty game? Because they did so much right, it seems. They're not even the 2 best ones, but man, yeah, their relationship, like, will they, won't they? They won't. Of course, they never will, but just how they say it without saying it, it's good stuff. But not even the best character. Best character is Ethan, E3N, I think, right? The robot who has this personality and feelings and probably all the best lines in the game. Just fantastic. It's so weird still that I'm saying all this about a Call of Duty game, but it's that good. It's that enjoyable. And if you need to, like, yeah, put it on Recruit, like, blaze through the thing. It's just that fun. I like the way the game even wraps up because it's just building and building and building. You're going back and forth between kind of invasion operations and jackal strikes is what they're called because you get to fly. There's even some like Earth to space combat missions and stuff like that. It's just, they do a really good job with the setting, with the execution, with the storytelling. I feel like they've got a good bad guy that wraps up in a satisfactory manner. There's just a lot going for it that I think a lot of Call of Duty games haven't had, and not just in and I did like the most recent Modern Warfare, but it seems like this is probably just old man me again, but I feel like I haven't got the highs that I've gotten since that original Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, and Infinite Warfare. In fact, I might have just said my top 3 to some extent. So that's not official, but Infinite Warfare being good is official as far as I'm concerned. So check it out, and I think that's all I'm going to do for this week. An actual short one, and this is what it sounds like when I constantly hit the table while I'm talking because I can't hold still. The end.